Greetings from the Eccentric Man, and something different tonight. Rebels and Patriots down at the local store, Lost Ark Games in Stevenage, and John has got a new rule set, and kindly when he ordered his, he ordered one set for me, so we're trying it out. It's an ACW game, and John's worked out a scenario. It's one from the book, but he's tinkered with it very slightly, and we'll go through the scenario as when and very shortly. But it's a new rule set from Osprey Games. Get it on Amazon at the moment with Amazon Prime for about £9. Otherwise it's around about 13. Could be a good little rule set to try. It's my first time trying it. John's had at least one or two games I think with it. So here's the table. We're playing in the centre between the two wooded areas. John's got 24 points for the attacking Union, and I've got 18 points for the defending Confederates. So, let's have a look, and let's get into the game. So, first game of Rebels and... Patriots. Rebel and Patriots. Yeah, is it Rebel and Patriots?
Yeah, it's Rebel and Patriots.
Rebel and Patriots from Osprey Games. And I'm going to be taking the Conservatives, Confederates. I was just looking at a David Cameron mock video. For the UK people, you'll know David Cameron. For the people outside of the UK, he's the guy who gave us the vote on Brexit. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm the Confederates, and I've got to hold the bridge. John and... There's John, and there's Steve, who is going to be attacking to take the bridge. So I've got my troops holding it. The Union are advancing. And I've got my troops on the backboard as my reserves. My traits as an officer, apparently, are recruiter, so I must have 1 unit of green. However, we are very early on in the war, and all mine are green, it would appear. So, we'll be fighting the Union then.
And your officer's name is?
And my officer's name is Virgil Kane. So hopefully people can get the link from that one. So, end of turn 1, and there has not been as much as gone on. We've mostly got green because we're looking at the early period of the Civil War, and so what that means is that they have sort of -1 to their activation roll. So they would normally activate on a 6, so taking the -1 is going to bring them down to 5. The officer close by, over here, is my main man, Virgil Kane over here, would give a +1 from his units to everything within 12. Sadly, he couldn't do it to himself, so they remained stationary. These ones advanced with the centre ones, the reserves are coming up, and this one over here is a bit way out of the way, failed as well, so that stayed put. I tried to put these 2 units into close order, because they would get a +1 to discipline, and also for shooting and being in combat. And as you can see, they weren't having that either. Over on the Union side, much as a muchness was the same, needing a 6 to move, as you can see. Those on the left didn't. The ones at the back moved across. The ones at the front didn't. The ones in the centre didn't either. And those ones didn't. And they rolled a double. John rolled a +1 for these ones. His officer is a bit of a cad apparently, and from the last game he played, he carries some traits with him. He wants to get back to his flame, his amour, and so he rolled a +1, and they get a lack of discipline marker for their troubles. But 1 unit of Zouaves did move up into the open and did take a shot. Oh no, there was a shot over there, wasn't there? I lied. There was a shot over there, but they weren't able to cause a casualty. In this one, depending on how the range you are, it's either you need to do two hits to do a casualty, or three hits at long range,
and then goes up by 1.
And then up by 1 if there's cover.
Hard cover takes up 2.
And so what Steve needed was 5 kills to take 1 man out, because we're behind hard cover, which he failed to do. Anyway, into move 2, and let's see how that progresses. Right, so the Union have progressed up towards the breastworks there, bulwarks, breastworks, whatever, and has rolled the dice. Needed 6+ to hit.
Needed
6 to fire.
5.
6 to fire, and then
finally got it.
Yeah.
And then he needed 5 because of his firing ability.
and rolled enough to take 5 hits.
That's 1 casualty.
So that's 1 casualty from me.
So you lose 1 man.
So that'll be that side.
Oh, it's fine.
No.
Oh, you were right. So firing on that side, yeah.
Right,
so 1 casualty and a disorder marker.
And there's no officer in that unit. It's only that unit. That unit.
You only have 1 officer, so he's over
if
here.
that had been that unit, they'd have to take a separate check.
All right, yep.
So basically, that's that. So now you've got to take a morale check.
So that's 1 man dead on this side because Steve fired from the unit at the back of the on the road. Took a shot at these. Maximum range 18 inches. Are they 18 inches?
Yeah.
God,
Maximum range.
that looked dodgy to me. Right, so 18 inches. So 1 man gone and a bit of disorder and a disorder check.
Yes. No. Basically, you don't get disorder immediately.
Right.
You now make a morale check. You roll
Yeah.
2d6.
2d6.
And you minus stuff. So
Okay.
roll 2 dice, and I'll tell you what you minus.
So I've got 8.
Minus 1 for any casualty. Takes you to 7.
Down to 7 then.
Minus 1 for any disorder. You're minus 1 disorder.
Okay, so 6.
That's the unit is minus 1 disorder.
Yeah.
Sorry, discipline. Beg your pardon.
Minus 1 discipline. So
6.
on a 6.
They're not close order,
Nope.
and there's no officer. So you end up on a 6.
Radio.
And I just need to quickly check the book.
So just 2 off of my 8 roll.
And
Just give you a panorama of the battlefield. That river's impassable to everything but ducks. Union at the moment in turn 2 have pushed forward.
Right.
They've actually passed their
you
leadership
needed
test.
a 6 to pass.
So 6 to pass. Excellent.
And you
We're
got
good.
6, so you passed.
We're good. We're all good. So let's move on.
Damn Yankees have fired at this unit, advanced up and fired, and took another man off. So I had to take another test, and this time I only rolled a 6, so went down to a 5 for the man lost, and down to 4 for the disorderly type thing. The lack of discipline because I'm green. So that put me on a 4. So with that, I now get a disorder marker. If I had a disorder marker, they would have had to have withdrawn.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So at the moment, we're not happy. So that's the last of the Union units to go. So it's now up to the Confederates. Start of turn 2 is not auspicious. These failed their test to rally, so they've decided to do the off. So they've withdrawn 3 inches. Rolled a 6, so it goes down to 4. And because 4 is better than 2, if it was 2, they would have broken. So they're making for the bridge. Whereas this unit over here, I've rolled double 6 to move. And in Rebels and Patriots, low dice is not good, and high dice is always good. So we've got double 6.
So you roll 1 dice.
Oh, got to roll 1 dice.
5.
Where did it go? 5. Oh yeah, 5.
Ooh, you like this.
Oh, I like this. Oh, yeah.
Fighting cocks.
I can't say anything about that. Yep.
The unit just activated
Yep.
fights with determination as true heroes do. And
Yay!
gains +1 on all discipline tests for the rest of the game.
Marvellous. +1 discipline, so that's +2 discipline.
That's cancelled out. No, they've already -1.
Oh, they're already
That's
out.
cancelled it out.
That's cancelled it out. Excellent. So that's good. They are going to advance. I moved on to the second unit and I said, I wonder if the luck will rub off. And I've rolled double 6 again. They are talking about confiscating my dice. So, got to roll another dice.
If this is a 6, you're out.
2. That's not going to be so good.
True grit.
Oh,
Your
true
officer
grit.
acts with true grit and gains +1 honour to his total score in this scenario.
Marvellous.
You will read about the incident in the newspapers within a week.
Hey, excellent. Makes the press. So, we've fired this unit here at the bulwark at the Union troops on the left. Tactically, I don't mind saying why I've done it. Tactically, they could have possibly come up to the flank and got me enfiladed on the side if I'd gone into close order. So I was hoping to put a little bit of hurt on them so that they would take an activation test. So then it could allow me to concentrate on these front ones and give me a bit of time for the reserves who again failed their move to come up. These ones did actually come up. So I roll 12 dice because it's a full unit, and they were within close range 12 inches. So my firing factor was 6, but I'm not well disciplined for firing, so that brings me down to 5. So we rolled 12 dice.
The first shot.
And it was first shot.
First shot takes you down to 5.
And first shot takes it down to 5, otherwise I would have stayed at 6. So first shot takes me down to 5s to hit, and I got 6 hits, 6 hits, and that means, because they are in the open at close range, every 2 hits kills a man, so that's 3 men down. So Steve has now got to take a test to see what happens at -3.
Start off with -3.
To start off with -3.
Can I use those?
You can use those. Yeah, use my dice. I have had some ribbing.
8.
Oh, 8. That's not bad.
Takes you to 5. -1 because your discipline takes you to 4.
All good for.
And obviously within 12, takes it to 5.
5. Oh well.
And 5 on,
That shouldn't be too bad, should it?
I think they just take a discipline marker. Just don't
Stand up. Look.
Yeah. Steve's had to stand up for that one. Yep.
He failed, but the final total, because you needed 6 to pass.
Yep.
He failed, but the total is above 2, you get disorder marker.
Disorder marker. Excellent. Good bit of shooting. Good bit of shooting by the Green Confederates. So end of turn 2, and as you see, we've been going through. That was my last unit to activate, and Steve's got his disorder marker on them, and it's now passing over to the Union. So some good, some bad. I've got that unit still running away. That unit has been quite good, and my officer has got true grit. Is it true grit, the officer, or the unit?
The officer gets true grit.
Officer gets true grit, and he's also got that other one, hasn't he? Mentioned in dispatches, for a bit of plus of honour. So yeah, into turn 3. Things were not good. After the marvellous shooting of the last turn, the poor old Union on that side have broken and gone back. Not broken, but withdrawn. And this unit took a shot and managed to kill one. And then I rolled a 4, which goes down to 2. Which then means that they have to withdraw again. So I've got the 2 units that were at the walls running away. So not good. And it's even worse if they run into one another and they can't go their full move distance. Because bad things happen with that. And they will lose a figure for every inch they don't move. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. Although it's not too horrendous, is it? Because if I only go back 3, I might only lose 3 maximum.
The only horrendous thing that's about to take place is there's still 3 units to go that could make you move.
There is, yes. Okay, then let's see what happens next. Dice rolling is exceptionally good tonight, and for the unit that he rolled double 1 before, he's just rolled another double 1 for activation. So let's see what you're going to do, John.
6.
6. Oh, nicely bounced off there.
It's not a handball, that one.
No!
Yeah. Yay, what's this one?
I'll tell you what it says. Brown trousers.
Brown trousers.
Your officer acts without boldness and loses 1 honour from his total score in this scenario. You will read about the incident in newspapers within a week.
Oh dear.
My honour's going to go down.
Oh dear.
No.
Yep.
So he's a Ken and he's lost more honour.
Yep. Yeah. Cactus trousers. Oh dear. So into turn 3, and the unit there have not rallied. I rolled an 8, but because they had the 2 disorder markers and their discipline's not so good because they're green, meant that they failed. They went 5 when they needed 6, so another 3 inches back across the bridge. Fortunately, these ones have rallied, so they're ready for next turn. Move these ones up into the line, and was able to use the 12-inch leadership to give them the +1 to get them to rally. These ones have moved up as well. Fortunately, these ones passed their test and they've moved up to the riverbank. And these ones over here have actually got the message and advanced up to the fence line. So we've got the Zouaves very close there. Not sure what the unit at the back's going to do. He's not very happy, the officer. And the ones over here are advancing up in the centre.
So let's move into turn 4. So the unscrupulous Union have fired at the retreating Confederates on the bridge, enough to kill 3 people, which is very sad. So we get one more disorder marker, don't we, for the casualties?
Yes.
That took me up to 3 disorder markers. I rolled a 9. However, with all the deductions, it took me back down to 5, which was still a fail.
Still a fail.
And when you have 2 markers, it's your unit's broken.
Unit's broken.
But because I failed again, that gives me 3 markers, disorder markers, which means that they rout. So how far do they go?
They don't come off the table. They just get moved.
Right, they rout and they've gone.
They're removed from the table.
So very harsh on those Confederates there. Although not necessarily needed to denote, it does help a little bit when rounding things up. So we found some smoke. So these are the units that fired. Fired the 2 units at the Zouaves on that right side flank, and they managed to pass their leadership test, which was okay. So they have stayed where they are. I've moved this unit up to the bank the last turn, but this turn didn't roll enough for them to activate to fire. But this unit over here has moved up this time around, and they've advancing on the bank edge. However, I am 1 unit down because they did rout off. So the culprits for that were those ones in the centre of the road. So let's move into turn 5. So into turn 5, and the Union have started to put a bit of pressure on, and did put a disorder marker on the Confederate unit behind the wall. So let's have a look at what happened in this. So the Union have moved up. They spent their time moving, and so have moved up and put pressure on. They've taken the bulwark on that side, did a bit of firing, and as I say, put that disorder. Could have been worse with the firing, but we did survive that bit. However, let's start from the left. This unit, I wanted to shoot the Union on the far side of the bank. They failed. I wanted this unit to fire at the Union behind the wall. They failed. This unit here, I thought I'll charge them out at the unit on the road, and failed their leadership test, even with the officer within 12. And then the officer unit, he failed as well. So not much happened on that one. Yeah, it was not a good round for morale tests for me on this side. So let's move into turn 6 and see what the Union can do. An auspicious start for turn 6 to the Union. You can see Steve busily moving them back another half move. We're going to have to look through the rules to see what happens when they hit the backboard. Little roundup after turn 6 Union turn. There's been a lot of shooting out at these, and these have lost 1 man and got a disorder marker, so that wasn't too bad. Union unit in the centre has moved up onto the bridge because John and Steve have got to get across the bridge, and we're in turn 6. It's turn 8, we start rolling to see whether it continues or ends. So the 2 Union infantry sections on this side have taken some shots at the Confederates, and fortunately I have been so lucky, 1 unit didn't cause any casualties. The far unit caused 1 casualties, and I rolled enough, even with the disorder and the green status, just for them to not need to take a second disorder marker. So they're okay to try and activate them next turn. And it's going into the Confederates' turn now. So I decided that the rebels would give a rebel yell and charge the unit that were taking the bridge. And I've rolled double 1. And remembering, as low a dice roll is not good in this game. So, what's happened with the double 1, John? Is there anything bad, or do I just not activate?
Something bad, I'm afraid.
So something bad does happen. Okay then, I've got to roll a dice.
Roll 1 dice.
It's not the one I've been lost. Oh, it was!
Oh no, I won!
Keeps there.
So, what's happening with those, John?
Friendly fire.
Friendly fire.
Yeah. The friendly unit you just tried to activate opens fire at the closest friendly unit to its front.
Oh, that's four.
and that is within range.
That's good. There's nobody in front of me.
Remember that units usually have a 360-degree front, if not in close combat or artillery.
They have a 360.
They fire 360 degrees.
Right then. Okay, so they will be firing those ones behind them then.
Roll to hit as normal firing action, but the target counts as in cover, whether it is or not.
Right. So fortunately, I have got one disorder. So
You only roll 6.
I only rolled 6 dice.
I wanted you to roll a 3.
So yeah, it would have been. Oh well, really was it? Yeah. Units which aren't in close order or aren't in. Yeah, close order they wouldn't have a 360.
Yeah, or artillery.
Yeah, or artillery. So
They both fire to the front.
yeah.
Really.
So yeah, we'll have to roll now to see what damage they do to these. But as it is friendly fire, the ones behind do count as in cover. Well, that was not such a good turn for the Confederates. The unit over here failed the test to fire. The unit here fired at the people on the bridge but didn't do anything because I was only firing with 6 dice because I've got a disorder marker. And as it's my initial firing is a 6s, I needed 6s from the 6 dice but didn't get any. I've moved the unit over to block the bridge because John said that was a better move. But what had happened beforehand was that these obviously rolled that double one and fired, and fortunately didn't cause any casualties. And the unit over here took a shot and had no 6s whatsoever out of 12 dice. So yeah, the Union get away a bit scot-free. Bit gutted that I couldn't charge with this unit. That was a bit of a shame because they're going to probably get a lot of punishment this next turn. Right, into turn 7. Turn 7, and the unit is not very happy. They took a casualty, so rolled a test and rolled a 3, which gave me minus. There was -2 off of that, so down to 1, which means they get another disorder marker. Or 2 disorder markers, wasn't it? 2 disorder markers, which then causes them to rout because they already had the 1. So that unit's gone. So there is nothing on that side of the river. We've just got the stalwarts on this side of the bridge holding it up. And just like to say that Steve did fail to charge with these ones.
Just thinking about it.
And he did shoot with these ones and caused this unit to withdraw and get to break and have 2 disorder markers. Luckily, his officer failed his test and decided not to do anything. And the unit on the backboard did pass their morale test and are now ready to come back into the fray. Yeah, so that was not good. So the bulwark and that side of the river given up. So John reckoned it was a good idea for me to charge. So I rolled. Activation to charge is like your leadership test, but you charge the distance that you roll. So I rolled 2 5s, 10, which gave me plenty of space to charge across the bridge. I've got a fighting value of 5 against the Union Steve's 6. However, because I got a successful charge, I go down to needing 4s to cause hits. So we're going to have a quick roll of 12 dice. How many dice is in that hand? I've got, 12 dice. 12 dice to see what I'm going to get. Got no idea what I've rolled there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
3.
5 versus 3.
5 versus 3. Right.
Yeah! Well, although the Confederates won that bit of a melee, because we both took casualties, meant that we had to take leadership tests, and the Confederates rolled a bit low, which meant that they had to withdraw 3 inches and take a disorder marker, and the Union had to withdraw, and because of the loss, they took a leadership test, but you passed, didn't you?
No, you failed.
Oh, did you fail as well?
You went back another 3 inches.
Oh, and it went back another 3 inches. So there was me, I wasn't concentrating. So yeah, so in fact, that was probably been a good move for me, failing my leadership test. So although I've got 1 disorder marker, I'm back over, and I'm a bit of far away for them to capture the bridge.
No, it might go for another 2 or 3 turns yet.
Well, it might. We're going to get this. This is the end of turn. This is turn 7, isn't it? This is end of turn.
that's oh yeah, I've got all the units to activate. That was the first
You've only
thing.
done one unit.
Yeah, so I've got all the units to activate next, if they will. Anyway, so let's see. I'm also one unit away from losing 50% of my command, which means I would have to take an army-based leadership test. Anyway, let's see what else is going to activate in my turn. So into turn 7, and we've been able to rally this unit of Confederates because I moved the officer across, and it was fortunate that he got the upgrade during the game, because it meant that he hasn't got a negative modifier, and he adds +1, and I rolled a 5, so it put it up to 6. So he was able to move across, and that meant that he could support that unit and give them a boost. And they've passed their test, so they've passed their rally test, so they lose all their disorder. This unit over here are a useless bunch of wombats who have now failed their leadership test again 5 times out of 7. I'm not counting. I am counting. They are green. They are going to get a rollicking. So into turn 8. So end of Union turn 8, and the unit here fired at the Confederates on the bridge. I failed the leadership test, so they've got another disorder marker. So they're broken, and they retreated another 3 inches, which is probably just as well, because the Zouaves are now looking at quite a longish dice roll to get into combat. What else? The unit on the far side, they passed the test and advanced up. And the officers' unit there, what did they do?
They failed to fire.
Failed to fire?
Oh no, shot those.
Oh, they did shoot, yeah. They shot at these and didn't hit anyone, did they?
But you took one in pocket.
Did I 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Ah.
For a 10, didn't you?
Yeah, and through a 10 and passed my leadership test. That was it. I was thinking there was still 12 there, but there's not. There's 10. They were okay. These looking not too bad over this side, apart from this bit here. So they're going to have to rally, I think, on this turn. Right. So moving into the Confederates turn 8. So end of turn 8 for the Confederates, and the unit over here failed their leadership test. They've just 1 short, which was a bit of a shame. Unit in the points here, just by the bridge, they fired at the Zouaves on top, and we got cover for John through the bridge, and I needed to get at least 3 hits, but didn't, so nothing happened there. This unit failed its test, so didn't do anything, and unfortunately the officer over here has probably lost his fighting cock and failed his test as well, and didn't do anything.
Now we test if we carry on.
Now we test to see if we carry on then. 5 plus
8. 5 plus 8 is 13. Carry on. You've got to get 14.
Right.
If you roll 14, you
It
roll the
ends.
dice, you add
Yeah.
how many turns.
Yeah.
Once we get 14 or above, end the game.
Okay, so we've got 1 more turn.
Yeah.
So if you didn't
No,
catch what
we
John,
might get 2 more
we get more turns. You didn't hear what John said. So you roll a dice and you add that to the turn. So we're turn 8, and Steve rolled an 8, so it's 13. And if it hits 14, the game ends. So we've got another turn at least to go into. So turn 9, the Union. So a bit of a let-off for the Confederates this turn around. The Zouave units charged across the bridge, but didn't quite make it. So they had to stop 3 inches short. So yeah, a lucky escape for the Confederates there. Zouaves have moved up nearly to the wall there to retake it. The Unions fired across the river, took a casualty on the Confederates here, but I passed my test, which was quite good. And on this side, the Union unit fired, but didn't put any casualties onto this unit, because they were long range and only got 2 hits, because they needed 6s. Or was it 5s?
5.
Needed 5s, but only got 2 of them. So the Confederates were lucky there. So moving into turn 9 for the Confederates, and let's see what we can do. So
Rallying's a lot lower than
So,
6.
interesting. We were looking at the rules for rally and for activation, and they are different. So to activate to go forward, to charge, I would just need to get an 8, because I've got the 2 disorder markers, but I've got 1 discipline down, but I get 1 back because of the leader. So I would need to roll at least an 8 to hit 6 to charge or do anything to fire.
Right, you need,
However,
you need the same to rally.
what I would need
You
an
need
8.
6 to, yeah, you need 8 to rally.
8 to rally.
The consequences of not getting a
That's it,
roll
yeah.
is much worse.
There is a consequence to activate. I would just fail to activate, but for rallying a unit, I would then have to have a look at what the result on the rally result. So you would take off the points for disorder and the lack of discipline, and if it gets below 4,
No, 2 or below.
2 or below, then I would get another disorder marker and route.
If you get 2 or above,
If I get 2
lower
or
than
above,
6,
but lower than 6,
you get just another disorder. No, you don't get another disorder, you just retreat.
I just retreat. So that's a real risky one. So yeah. So under 2, I'd break for the unit.
2 to 6.
5 to 2.
Yes.
5 to 2 I would withdraw. 6 I would pass.
Roll 2 dice.
Right, yeah, gonna have to roll 2 dice and see what we do.
Well, that was poop, we could say. This unit here failed their leadership test again. That's the trouble with green troops, I think. That is a big problem. Green troops and not supported. This unit managed to fire, but they didn't get any hits on the unit of Zouaves on the bridge. Because of the cover issue, they needed at least 3 hits, but I only rolled 1 6. This unit here, I had ummed and ahed of whether to rally or to charge. I took the decision to charge because that was the lesser of the 2 evils, sort of. But I failed the chest anyway, so they don't activate. But at least they don't get destroyed because I rolled a 4. And that probably would have been gone, and that would have been the army needing to take a leadership test. For being 50% casualties. This unit over here, the officer, don't know what he's doing. He failed his test again as well. I am rolling a lot of 4s this time around. So we're going to move now into maybe turn 10.
Roll the dice. 9 plus 6, 15. End of game.
End of game.
It's got 2 dice.
So that's it. The end of game. So
Roll a 6.
you're not across the river, are you?
No.
One more go.
One more go, and you would have been across the river.
Don't let me throw the dice again.
So I would think that we are going to go. That's it. The Confederates have held it.
Out and that's it.
Yeah, sort honour out, and we'll see how we go, and then we'll perhaps have a quick chat with the video running to see how we think the dice and the games run. So let's work out who's won. Well, what happens afterwards. So we've worked out for honour-wise. John set the scenario for the Union to get across the bridge, and that would be a win. So the Confederates have won because they've stopped that. However, you then work out the honour for each officer in the game. So your officers start on basic 10, and then whatever happens to them, it can go up and can go down, as they say in all these adverts. So because of the scenario, both John and Steve get +2 to their honour.
Yes, but I just remembered, didn't I get something happened to me that I lost 1 honour in?
You did, yes.
So I only got 1 honour.
Yeah, so right at the beginning, didn't you?
Yes.
You lost 1 honour. So John gets +1 honour to his officer, and Steve gets +2. The Confederate officer gets +4 for still holding the bridge, and we got +1 for the dice roll earlier in the game for fighting cock or true grit, whichever one it was. It was probably fighting cock, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Going to say our 2 was because we got the breastwork.
Yeah, and John
because
got.
we've done 33% casualties.
That was it.
from
Yeah,
the enemy.
John got. It was +2 for Steve holding 1 of the breastworks, and +2, +1,
It was +2 altogether.
+2
You do
altogether.
it as 1 army.
Ah, right, yeah.
For the, 1 for the breastwork.
One for the breastwork.
33%.
And 1 for 33% casualties that I took.
Yeah, and I lost 1 because of my Pink.
John lost one because of his
What trait or whatever
his trait
it was I
roll
got during the game.
earlier on. So that was it. So game wise, that's pretty good, wasn't it?
Really good fun.
I think good fun, quick.
Quick, simple, easy little set of rules.
Yeah, fairly good, fairly simple.
Give a good flavour as well, not
Yeah.
over bloody.
No, it wasn't like you could fire at a unit and destroy it totally.
No.
You were putting the disorder markers on it,
Yeah.
and you had a chance possibly to get them back.
Well, you rallied quite a few of your units because that
Yeah.
one rallied and
Yep.
that rallied. The other one on the bridge
Yeah,
rallied.
one rallied.
It's the unpredictability.
There is a bit of unpredictability, isn't there, with the dice roll? Yeah. Whether it's gonna pass the morale test or not is its activation test should get terminology. Try to get terminology right, isn't it? So
Bonuses as well.
yeah.
for the, commanders on the
yeah, and if you roll a double 6, then you get an opportunity to get perhaps an increase of a trait for the particular game. It doesn't roll over onto the other ones, but just for this game, it gives it a little bonus. And of course, if you roll double ones like John,
You get those
frequently,
ones.
he gets a minus to his, but he doesn't get a good bonus. Yeah. So what's the name of your officer?
Samuel M. Ferguson.
Samuel M. Ferguson, brown pants.
Yes.
From now on.
No.
Yeah. I think that's a. Don't you think, Steve? Yeah.
Oh, come
I think
on.
that's.
No.
Well, it was only for this game,
Only
wasn't
for-
it?
he's gonna get-
Only for this game.
He's gonna
told you to charge me even though we were on the same side earlier.
Yeah,
I said
yeah,
no.
yeah.
He's taking him to the dry cleaners. They'll be back nice and fresh.
Right. So I think yes, a thumbs up from us for this game, for this set of rules, and we'll certainly have some more games of it. Yeah, excellent. Well, I hope you enjoyed this battle report as much as John, Steve, and myself did. It was a lot of fun. It was really nice to get the American Civil War out on the table after all this time. You can see John's rebased it from a different rule set, and he's going to be doing up the bases of this. And I think he's got another game coming up during the week. But yeah, we did enjoy ourselves. So, if you enjoyed yourselves watching this, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, subscribe. Share with your friends if you want to. Put a comment on the bottom. All comments answered. And yeah, look out for more Rebels and Patriot games. Good little game. We started at about 6:30 and finished at 9:30. And that's a new set of rules to me. John's played it twice now, and Steve hadn't played it, so we were in and out of the rules, looking at different things. So 3 hours, yeah, probably about 3 hours, leisurely game, but it played nice and quick, really. So, thanks for watching. Until the next time, take care.